ladies, gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastion, Envi strong style, cinephile on the back end of what has been a great, glorious day. Coming off Super Bowl, in which the Kansas City Chiefs got just stomped and mollywopped and dog walked all over the football field, ending all talks of that three-peat nonsense. Thank God. Me, as a Broncos fan, I am very, very happy about that. Did some filming earlier today, and during the game, which I actually wasn't going to watch, I wasn't even going to try to hate watch the thing. My brother had texted me at a certain point and got my attention on the game. I was like, oh, I actually might have to start watching it now. Stop watching Warhammer 40k videos for a minute and watch the game. And it was a glorious, glorious game. But also, we saw like a little bit of a teaser from the Thunderbolts trailer, which they dropped online. So let's geek about that for a scant few minutes, because we got a little bit more from it. I mean, some of the stuff we could have guessed. I mean, you know who Bob is, you know who the Sentry is, you know with the Sentry comes the Void. The Sentry is already just a immensely powerful hero in his own right, and then he's a bit unstable, also has this dark side to him, known as the Void. Apparently the Void is going to be the baddie in this. We saw a shot of Bob from the back, flying, floating. You hear the Void, the evil voice of him, in a scene with Bucky where he catches Bucky's fist and basically like rips it off. And I'm assuming in that scene he's mollywopped the entire team, because they're a bunch of like regular people, albeit with super soldier enhancements across a number of them. But against the Sentry, how are they supposed to have any sort of chance against it? And that's going to be the thing about it. I mean, as I've said in other videos, there's really no great original idea, story. Everything's kind of been done to this point. You can have a movie drop and you can name 4 or 5 other movies that, you know, fit the same sort of story beats, same sort of characters, easily. You can just rattle that shit off. And this is, like, as I said, it's about the execution. And if they just do enough, if they give you like a character or maybe a script or a performance that's just a little bit different enough to trick your brain into thinking that it's not something you've seen a million times before, then they've succeeded. This movie is going to be no different. It's a ragtag group of underachievers and albeit like losers, people who have issues going on.
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Having to pull together and work together to solve a threat that is obviously something that is heaps and bounds above what they should be handling. David and Goliath situation, you know, that type of thing, where they have no business taking on what they're going to take on, but they do it anyway because they want what they're trying to make something of themselves. They're trying to prove something to themselves, to the world at large, that they're not this, they're not that. It's continuing the story of the downfall of John Walker, and he's going to try to like rebound from that. He's got a kid. His kid doesn't want his kid thinking he's a loser. Yelena, it's going to be something for her. I mean, Red Guardian is perpetually a loser and the butt of like, you know, life just kicking him in the ass. So he's going to try to like rise above his station and be something better. That's the whole thing about this movie. It's the very much the feel of the Suicide Squad. Hell, both Suicide Squads or Guardians of the Galaxy, that sort of vibe, where it's just this ragtag group of people that have differing personalities that have to come together for the greater good to save the world, universe, what have you. It's something we've seen across different genres. I mean, hell, you saw it you could see it in sports movies. You saw it in like The Replacements.
Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Right on, son. Right on, baby. Right on.
I don't know how they're supposed to defeat the Sentry. I don't know what sort of MacGuffin, what sort of power dampening MacGuffin is going to be laid down, is going to be found, is going to be achieved in order to somehow like cause the Void to like neuter itself, for them to be able to do whatever, mount whatever sort of defense and ultimately, triumphing over the void. Remains to be seen how it all plays out, but it's a familiar trope, familiar sort of like story. It's all about the execution. Do we like the characters? Arguably, we like Florence Pugh as Elena Belova. For me, she's like the greatest thing that's happened to the MCU. Sebastion Stan as Bucky. We all like him. David Harbour as Red Guardian. I mean, it's tolerable. His shtick kind of can get old. I'm hoping I'm just hoping there's a limit to it and they just don't overdo it. We have Wyatt Russell as John Walker. I mean, people like him. I liked his performances as U.S. Agent and John Walker. You have Ghost and Taskmaster with Olga Kurylenko, I think is her name, playing Taskmaster. I know a lot of people bitch and complain about what they did with the MCU version of the Taskmaster. I mean, it's whatever. Hopefully she does something cool. Are all these guys going to make it out alive? It's kind of the question out there on the interwebs, whether or not they're all going to make it. I imagine one or two of them will die. Maybe one of them, just one. So it's not quite a copyright, so it's not quite seen as a copy off the Suicide Squad, which in a lot of circles it is, where they're just cannon fodder. Because if anything, Yelena, Ray Guardian, Bucky, U.S. Agent. I mean, the only ones that like are really a threat to be on the chopping block is Ghost and Taskmaster. With the one that's probably going to end up dying is a Taskmaster. Because you got to like think the next two Avengers movies, who needs to be in them? Certainly not Ghost or Taskmaster. So they'll probably be on the chopping block. But it is what it is. I'm here for it. I love that they use one of my favorites, like 80s tracks of all time in it. Huge fan of Mannequin. So
Let the world around us just fall apart. Baby, we can make it if we're heart to heart.
I mean, if you know, you know. But that just helped the trailer for me. I love Florence Pugh as Yelena, so I'm in it just strictly for her. I love the Thunderbolts as a concept from the comics. Not the OG Thunderbolts. It had the great surprise, of course. This is more the government Black Ops, team of losers. Thunderbolts. I mean, it is what it is. That's what we're working with. But I'm here for it. I'm excited. The movie can't get here soon enough. And yeah. Will they stick the landing to make it just different enough of a story of ragtag group of heroes from different places, different lives, different beliefs, different whatever's coming together to stop the greater evil, which is the void. Remains to be seen how it all plays out, but those are my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me, and there's a train, social media. Talk to me there, talk to me here. Till next time, fuck you, train, fuck Nazis, and let us geek.